Hi everybody. So in the previous class we discussed about the inflorescence and flower. Okay. So flower is a modified shoot. So in the last class we discussed how or why the flower is said to be a modified shoot. Here the different floral appendages are formed from a leaf-like structure. So they are modified and the internodes get condensed and they are all arranged on a solen part called thalamus. So it become a flower. So such the meristematic tip, when it get modified into flower, sometimes the flowers, bunches of flowers are produced, okay, in a plant. Okay, so bunches of such flowers, bunches of flowers are called as inflorescence, or in simple words, the arrangement of flowers on a floral axis is called as inflorescence. Okay, so that is the thing we discussed. And if you come to the symmetry of a flower, if you are able to cut the flower into two equal halves, okay, in any plane by crossing the center, in any plane if it get into two equal halves, then it is called as actinomorphic flower. And if you cut the flower into two equal halves only in one direction, okay, then it is called as zygomorphic flower. And if you are unable to make the flower into two equal halves in any plane, then it is called as irregular flower. Okay, so actinomorphic flower, zygomorphic flower, and irregular flowers. Okay, so come to the parts of the flower. If you are recall it, so flower has a stalk. That stalk is called as a pedicel, and that pedicel is swollen at the tip. That swollen part is called a thalamus, or it is also called as a receptacle. So let me brief it again. It has a stalk called as a pedicel. That pedicel has a swollen at the tip. That swollen tip is called as thalamus. So it is pedicel. This is thalamus. So on the thalamus, the floral appendages are going to be arranged. The outermost appendage is green colored one, that is called as calyx. Then you can find second whorl called as petal. So these are the petal. So they are also arranged on the thalamus. And you can find the female reproductive structure, there is ovary, and the male reproductive part such as a stamen. So this is how a typical flower is going to be formed. So these appendages are formed from a part of the stem itself. That's why flower is said to be a modified shoot. Okay. And these are the things we learned in the previous class. And when it comes to the inflorescence, there are two kinds of inflorescence based on the position of young flower or bud. Okay, if the bud is the young flower is present at the tip, it is called as acropetal. If the young or bud flower is present at the base, then it is called as a basipetal. So based on the two categories, acropetal or basipetal, we have two types of inflorescence, cymose and racemose. In cymose, younger flower present at the base, whereas in racemose, younger flower present at the tip. So that is, those are the two types of inflorescence, cymose inflorescence and racemose inflorescence. Okay, and come to the other part of the flower, that is type of flower, types of flowers based on position of ovary, calyx and corolla. Okay, so ovary, calyx and corolla, based on this position we have different types of flowers. So as I discussed just now, so on the thalamus floral appendages are present. That is one condition. Sometimes that floral appendages like a calyx and corolla are present at the rim of an ovary, or sometimes they are present at the tip of an ovary. So based on that we have three types of flowers. So one is hypogynous, second one is perigynous, and epigynous. So these are the three different types of flowers based on the position of ovary, calyx and corolla. Okay, so what is the meaning of hypo and that gynous? Let's see. So here gynous refers to gynoecium. It is nothing but that ovary part. Okay, so gynous, here is the gynous, here is the gynous, here is the gynous. So gynous refers to the gynoecium or the ovary. Okay, then what is the meaning of this hypo? So you should remember this meaning. Hypo means below, epi means above, then peri means middle. You should remember this meaning. Hypo as a prefix, hypo is there, that means below. Hypogynous, the meaning is below ovary. You can add like this, below the ovary. So what is it below the ovary? Below the ovary with respect to calyx. Below the ovary with respect to calyx and corolla. Perigynous, middle of the ovary with respect to calyx and corolla. Epigynous, above the ovary. Calyx and corolla present above the ovary. So just if you remember this, it can very easy to recall and remember it. Then what is it? Hypogynous. Let's see. So with respect to calyx and corolla, we are going to describe it. Calyx and corolla present below the ovary. Calyx and corolla present below the ovary. If you write a typical flower, you can write like this. So this is the typical flower. So here is the calyx and here is the corolla. Okay, see the position of ovary and calyx and corolla here. Here calyx and corolla present below the ovary. So here is the ovary. So below the ovary, calyx and corolla are present. Such type of flowers are called as hypogynous. And here ovary is superior. We call it as superior because it is present above the calyx and corolla, so called superior. Present below the ovary and ovary is superior. And ovary is superior. Okay, then let come to epigynous, then I can explain the perigynous later. So here calyx and corolla, present above the ovary, and ovary is inferior, So how is it then? So it is a stalk, then here is the ovary. Okay, and at the tip of ovary, at the base of the ovary, you can find the calyx and you can find the corolla like this. Okay, so here calyx and corolla present above the ovary and ovary is inferior. See, this is the ovary, here is the ovary. On the ovary, calyx and corolla are present. Such type of ovaries or flowers are called as epigynous flowers. Then what is that perigynous, or how these different types of flowers are going to be formed? So let us discuss by taking an example. So here is the thalamus. In a normal condition, ovary is present like this on the thalamus in a hypogynous flower. So here is the hypogynous flower, but this thalamus enclosed the ovary half part, then it produces calyx like this. So here calyx and corolla are present at the rim of the ovary. They are present at the rim of ovary. Okay. So perigynous, calyx and corolla present at the middle rim of the ovary, and ovary is half inferior, and ovary is half inferior. See there, ಇಲ್ಲಿರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಕೇಲಿಕ್ಸು, ಅದು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನ ಓವರ್ ಇರೋ ರಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಕೇಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕರೋಲಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಮಿಡಲ್ ರಿಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಓವರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಓವರಿ is half inferior. Then the same thing is continues to make it epigynous. So here is the ovary. So here the thalamus extends and completely covers the ovary like this. Then calyx and corolla are going to be produced that make the ovary epigynous. Okay, so let me explain it again. So by diagram, let me explain it again. See here is the pedicel, then thalamus. Okay, so here is the ovary and the thalamus. Usually on the thalamus ovary is situated. So this is the ovary and this is the thalamus. So here calyx and corolla are, let me explain only one. So along with that calyx, corolla is also there. So calyx is present like this, then it is called as hypogynous because calyx and corolla present below the ovary. Okay, see here below the ovary ಯಾವುದು calyx and corolla. ಇದು ovary ಕೆಳಗಡೆ calyx and corolla ಇದೆ. So it become hypogynous. And the same thing extends further, if thalamus covers half part of the ovary, ಈ thalamus ಈ ರೀತಿ ಕವರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, it covers half part of the ovary, then sepal is produced like this, then it become perigynous. Then it is perigynous. Suppose instead of half part, if thalamus completely covers the ovary, ಆ ಓವರಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ like this, then here you can see the calyx. Okay, then it is called as epigynous. So here this is the thalamus, this is the calyx, and this is the ovary. So if the thalamus completely covers the ovary, then it is said to be epigynous. Okay, and most of the plants are hypogynous. They have hypogynous type of flowers. Okay, so hope you understand the difference between hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous. So let me see some examples for this epigynous, perigynous and hypogynous. So hypogynous example, so many are belongs to this hypogynous category only, like hibiscus, then common ಆಗಿ ಸಿಗುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು most of them have then mustard, pea plant. Okay, they are all have this hypogynous flowers. Okay, then come to perigynous. So very few are there for perigynous, so such as rose and plum, they have perigynous. Then epigynous. Epigynous means cucurbits, all cucurbits. Okay, so what are those cucurbits? So cucurbits belongs to the particular family called as cucurbitaceae. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಎಪಿಗೈನಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ cucurbits ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ such as cucumber, pumpkin, all gourds. Okay, bitter gourd, ridge gourd, snake gourd, bottle gourd, sponge gourd, every gourds, these gourds belongs to this epigynous. Okay, and even the guava also belongs to this epigynous. Okay, so this is about the types of flowers based on their position of calyx, corolla and ovary. If ovary is situated above the calyx, it is called as hypogynous. If ovary is situated below the calyx and corolla, then it is called as epigynous. If calyx and corolla present at the middle of a ovary, then it is called as perigynous. So these are the different types of flowers based on their position of ovary, calyx and corolla. Then depending on whether the flower has both androecium and gynoecium or stamen and pistil, flowers are of two types. Okay, so flowers alli matte two types irutte. Flowers are like male flower, then female flower, then bisexual flowers. Okay, so let me divide it into a simple category first. Bisexual flowers and unisexual flowers. So flowers may be unisexual or bisexual. So unisexual means it can be of two types: male flower and female flower. So male flower and the flower, male flower which consists only stamens. Consists only stamens. Okay, female flower andre consists only pistil. Okay, then what is a bisexual flower? Consists of both stamen and pistil. ಸ್ಟೇಮನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪಿಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಎರಡೂ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಬೈಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಯೂನಿಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡೋದಾದರೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಪಾಯ, ದೆನ್ ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಕುಕರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್, ಪಂಪ್ಕಿನ್ನು, ಬಿಟರ್ ಗಾರ್ಡ್, ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಗಾರ್ಡ್, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಕುಕರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಬೈಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ many were there like pea plant, hibiscus, okay, then vinca. So you can give many examples for this bisexual flowers. Okay, so this is the type of flowers based on whether they have a stamen or pistil or both. Okay, that's it. Okay, so this is about the flower and their types based on different category. And come to the individual structure of the flower. So let us discuss the individual structure of a flower. Before that, let me explain one more thing with respect to the flower. if a flower has a stalk, ಒಂದು ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಇದೆ, ಕೇಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕರೋಲಾ ಎರಡು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, suppose this is the stalk of a flower. So this is stalk of flower. This stalk of a flower is called as pedicel. Okay, ಇದನ್ನ pedicel ಅಂತೀವಿ. And at the base of the stalk, base of the pedicel, if a small appendage is present, a small leafy appendage, small leafy appendage, this small leafy appendage is called as ಬ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್. ಈ ಥರ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ನ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಲೀಫ್ ಥರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಚಿಕ್ಕದು ಲೀಫ್ ಥರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಬ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್, ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಪೆಡಿಸೆಲ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಪೆಡಿಸಿಲೇಟ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಸಿ ದ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್. ಇಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ stalk, flower has stalk called as pedicellate, stalk or pedicel, it is called as pedicellate. It is called as pedicellate flower. Okay. It is called as pedicellate. And sometimes some flowers, very few flowers were there where okay, see there, flowers without stalk, flower ವಿತೌಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸು ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಫ್ಲವರ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾಕೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಥ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಏನಂತಾರೆ? ಇಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಪೆಡಿಸಿಲ್, it is called as ಸಸೈಲ್. ಅದನ್ನು ಸಸೈಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಫ್ಲವರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಪೆಡಿಸಿಲೇಟ್, ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಸೈಲ್. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಬ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಇದರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ, ಇಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್, it is called as bracteate. ಅದನ್ನು ಬ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಯೇಟ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಪೆಡಿಸಿಲ್, ಬ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್, ಇಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್, it is called as ebracteate. ಅದನ್ನು ebracteate ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. If a flower has a stalk, it is called pedicellate. If a flower not having a stalk, it is called as a sessile. If a flower has bract, it is bracteate. Not having means ebracteate. Should remember the name, technical terms: pedicellate, sessile, bracteate and ebracteate. Okay. So let us discuss the individual parts of the flower. So flower consisting of calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. So these are the four different parts of the flower and important parts of the flower. And this calyx and corolla, they have a different role. Then androecium and gynoecium have a different role. Here androecium and gynoecium, they helps in sexual reproduction, whereas calyx and corolla, they helps in the androecium and gynoecium for pollination purpose. So calyx for protection purpose, corolla to attract the pollinators, androecium it produces the microspores and pollen grains, gynoecium produces the egg, ovary and ovule and egg. Okay, so let us discuss the individual structure in detail. Okay, suppose if you come to the calyx, so calyx, so usually a single flower may have many calyx, that all together called as a calyx, but individual structure is called as a sepal. Okay, individual member of calyx is sepal. Individual member is sepal. It is usually green in color. Okay, it is green in color, smaller in size. You generally ಚಿಕ್ಕದಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, smaller in size. The main function of this calyx, it protects the flower in its bud condition. ಸೊ ಫ್ಲವರು ಬಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಒನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಬಡ್, ಈ ಥರ ಪೆಟಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎನ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪೆಟಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್, ಇದು ಪೆಟಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಪಲ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಎನ್ಕ್ಲೋಸಸ್ ದ ಪೆಟಲ್ಸ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಥರ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಎನ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಥರ ಎನ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಸೆಪಲ್. So sepal completely covers all the floral structures like corolla, androecium and gynoecium. All the structures are completely protected by this calyx. Okay, so in bud condition, so this is sepal in bud condition. ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸು ಮೊಗ್ಗಾಗಿರುತ್ತವಲ್ವಾ, ಆ ಮೊಗ್ಗಾಗಿರೋ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಕೇಲಿಕ್ಸು ಅದನ್ನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರ್ ಫ್ಲೋರಲ್ ಅಪೆಂಡೇಜಸನ್ನು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇನ್ ಬಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ sometimes all the sepals are fused and sometimes all the sepals are free. You can easily remove all the sepals. Suppose a single flower have 5 sepals, means you can remove all the 5 sepals easily. That is one condition. And sometimes all the sepals are united to form one structure, compact structure. That is another condition. So based on that, okay, if all the sepals are free, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೆಪಲ್ಸು ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, if all the sepals are free, the condition is called ಪಾಲಿಸೆಪಲಸ್. ಅದನ್ನು ಪಾಲಿಸೆಪಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ರೀ ಅಂತೇಳಿ, ಪಾಲಿಸೆಪಲಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದೇ ಥರ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಇಫ್ all the sepals fused, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೆಪಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, if all the sepals are fused, the condition is called ಗ್ಯಾಮೋಸೆಪಲಸ್. ಅದನ್ನು ಗ್ಯಾಮೋಸೆಪಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಈಗ ಪಾಲಿಸೆಪಲಸ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಪಾಲಿಸೆಪಲಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಸೆಪಲ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪಾಲಿಸೆಪಲಸ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ನು ಜಾಸ್ಮಿನಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಗ್ಯಾಮೋಸೆಪಲಸ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಗೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೆಪಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, so this is about the calyx. Okay, so calyx. Next come to corolla. So corolla. So ಕರೋಲಾದಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್. Corolla is a collective term. Many structures fused together, present together forms the corolla. So individual member is petal. Individual member is called as a petal, but in case of calyx, individual member is called as sepal, but corolla ge petal antivi. Petal is very colorful. So flower ಅಲ್ಲಿ the attractive part is a petal. Okay, petal ಇಂದನೇ flowers ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, petal they have different size and shape, with ವೇರಿ ಕಲರ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ತುಂಬ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಲರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೈನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ to attract pollinators. Okay, so pollination ಗೆ insects ಮತ್ತೆ birds ಅನ್ನು attract ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ it has different types of colors, and the most attractive part of the flower is this petal only. Okay, yeah. So this is about the second structure called as petal. Okay, so then these sepals and the petals, they are arranged in a different pattern in a flower with respect to the another member of the same whorl. So calyx in one whorl antivi, corolla second whorl, androecium third whorl, gynoecium is a four whorl. Whorl ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸುತ್ತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸುತ್ತು ಯಾವ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, calyx ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸುತ್ತು corolla, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ androecium, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ gynoecium. So called first whorl, second whorl, third whorl and fourth whorl. So this calyx and corolla, they are arranged in a specific pattern in a flower. Such arrangement of calyx and corolla, arrangement of sepals and petals in a flower is called as estivation. Okay, so let us discuss that estivation also. Then similar to that sepals, when the sepals are fused, the condition called gamocephalus, and when the sepals are free, called as polycephalus. The same condition is also applicable to corolla as well. If the petals are free, all the petals are free, condition is called as polycephalus. ಅದೇ ಥರ if all the petals are fused, condition is called as it is not sepalus, it is petalus, polypetalus. So polypetalous. If the petals are free, condition is called a polypetalous. If all the petals are fused, condition is called as gamopetalous. If you observe, let me take the example like hibiscus. For polypetalous, you can remove all the petals easily there, so that's why it is called as polypetalous. And gamopetalous, you cannot remove all the petals simultaneously, it is not possible. Okay, that's why it is gamopetalous. Gamo means fused anta. So in cucurbits, in all cucurbits it has gamopetalous condition, and along with this, these petals also shows different shapes as well. So different shapes. So different shapes ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು different names ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So shape of petal. Shape of petal ಅಥವಾ shape of corolla we can call it, ಅಂದರೆ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So it can be tubular, ಅಂದರೆ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಸೊ tubular, or it can be bell shaped. tubular ಇರುತ್ತೆ, bell shaped ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So let me draw one diagram for this tubular. So tubular andre if the flower is like this, okay, so this is tubular. ಈ ಥರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಯುಲಾರ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್. ದೆನ್ ಬೆಲ್ ಶೇಪ್ಡ್. So bell shaped andre, so in a reverse order it look like a bell. Reverse order nalli bell tara kaansutte anta. If the flower look like this, it is called a bell shaped flower. So ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ bell shaped ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, yeah, so tubular, bell shaped. Then in funnel shape, so funnel shaped ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, so flowers tubular ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಈ ಥರ ಇದ್ರೆ so this is called funnel shaped. So funnel shaped flowers. So like this different shapes of flowers were there. So these are the different shapes of flower. So let me give some examples as well. So tubular flowers again. So tubular flower example, Hemilia petens. Hemilia no flowers ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Then bell shaped cucurbits. Cucurbits ಅಲ್ಲಿ bell shaped ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Then funnel shaped. Datura. Okay, so funnel shaped ಅಥವಾ wheel shaped ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. Funnel shaped or wheel shaped. Okay, so these are the basic types. Of course, not only these three types, there are many types, more than 10 different types of shapes of petals were there. So you have only three types: tubular, bell shaped and funnel shaped. Okay. And this, as I already told, this calyx and the corolla, they are arranged in a specific pattern. Okay, so that arrangement is called as estivation. Okay, so let us discuss estivation. So estivation is the arrangement of sepals and petals, okay, in a flower with respect to other whorl of the same member. Okay. So next is estivation. So estivation andre it is the arrangement of either sepal or petal. It is applicable to both anta. Okay, either sepal or petal in a flower with respect to other member of the same oral. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಪಲ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ ಸೆಪಲ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದರ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಓರಲ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈಗ ಕೇಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಓರಲ್, ಕರೋಲಾ ಇಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಓರಲ್. ಅದರ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್, ಕೇಲಿಕ್ಸ್ನ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸೆಪಲ್. ಆ ಸೆಪಲ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸೆಪಲ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್. ಆರ್ ಹೌ ದ ಪೆಟಲ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅನದರ್ ಪೆಟಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್. ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ is simply the arrangement of sepals and petals in a flower. Okay, so flower with respect to other member of a same whorl. ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಸೇಮ್ whorl ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you should not mix both sepal and petal. Like it is arrangement of sepal with respect to other member of other whorl like petal ಅಲ್ಲ, or arrangement of petal with respect to other whorl like sepal ಅಲ್ಲ. It is arrangement of sepal with respect to another sepal. It is arrangement of petal with respect to another petal. That's why we are going to use the term with respect to other member of the same whorl. So calyx is one whorl, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಸೆಪಲ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ಒಂದೊಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So that is called estivation. So based on this arrangement, okay, so we have different types of estivations. So let's see what are the types of estivation. So types of estivation. So the 5 marks ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ usually types of estivation question. So valvate, twisted, imbricate, vexillary. So these are the 4 basic types of estivation. So what is the difference between all these? Let's see. So in valvate estivation, of course it applicable to both calyx and corolla. So valvately, if you consider a petal, if one petal present beside the other petal without the overlapping, suppose ಈಗ 5 ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 5 petals ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ all these 5 petals 1 2 3 4 5 all the 5 petals arrange side by side without any overlap. ನೋಡಿ ಒಂದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So like this. So this is one petal, this is another petal, this is another petal, this is another petal, this is another petal. So all these petals they arranged side by side and without overlap. ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. Such type of estivation is called as valvate estivation. So in valvate estivation, all the members arranged without overlap. Without overlap with each other. ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. Then come to the twisted. In twisted type, one member overlapped by other member and that member is overlapped by another member in a regular fashion. See here. this is one petal, suppose sepalar petal, it is overlapped by other, and this one is overlapped by one more, this one is overlapped by other. So here margins are overlapped with each other in a regular fashion. In twisted, all the members are overlapped at the margin, at their margin in a regular pattern. So here is the regular pattern. One member is overlapped by other member at its margin. Okay, so that is twisted. In imbricate, one petal is present completely inside, and one member is present completely outside. ಇದು complete inside ಇದೆ, and other members they are overlapped. So one is completely outside. Okay, see here, one petal is present completely inside, one petal is completely outside, remaining are overlapped. Okay, so in imbricate, one member present completely inside, and one member present completely outside, and remaining are overlapped. ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದಂಥದ್ದು ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಇನ್ನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ imbricate estivation. Then come to vexillary. Vexillary is a very special kind of estivation where one petal is very large, two small petals which are overlapped by that large petal, and inside two petals again overlapped and they are fused together to form ಇದನ್ನ descending imbricate ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, so here one standard petal, so this is a standard petal, and this one is wing petal, this is wing, and this one is keel. So one standard petal, two wing petal, two wing petals, and two fused keel petals arranged in a descending imbricate pattern. So descending imbricate pattern ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ one of the petal is present completely outside, two are present like this, and two are fused to form a keel ಅಥವಾ boat shaped structure. This type of arrangement is called as vexillary. That is vexillary estivation. Okay, so ಇದನ್ನ ಯೂಶಲಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಬಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್. ಯೂಶಲಿ ಬಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಇದನ್ನ. ಸೊ ಬಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಓಪನ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ ವಾಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ estivation it is. Okay, then come to this example. Let me give some examples. So examples for valvate estivation. So this valvate estivation could be seen in ಕ್ಯಾಲೋಟ್ರೋಪಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಕದ ಗಿಡದಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ವೆಟ್ ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಟ್ವಿಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೀನ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಂಕಾ ಅಥವಾ ಐಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಪೆಟಲ್, ಐಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಪೆಟಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾಲೋಟ್ರೋಪಿಸ್ದು sepal. Then imbricate, so imbricate estivation we can see in mayflower, and the vexillary estivation can be seen in mayflower the petal allirutte, mayflower petal. Then vexillary estivation we can see in petals of all pulses, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಲ್ಸಸ್ಗಳು ಏನಿದ್ರೆ ಬೇಳೆ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಬೇಳೆ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ ಈ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ವೆಕ್ಸಿಲರಿ ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಈಸ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.